I created yoga after years of being in the yoga space and realizing there wasn't a style of yoga out there for injured bodies and or tight bodies. And now we train the NBA, the NFL, NHL. We probably train about 600 athletes a day. And I was having a conversation with a team in the Dominican, a baseball team. And they're like, come down for a week. And everything in me was like, don't go. So I went, and literally I was done my contract, and I was getting a flight back from Punta Cana. I looked up, and there was a big red truck like right in front of us, and you know, that's that moment when I obviously thought my life was over. It's hard to, you know, relive that moment, but just all I could think about was my son. And I was just like so confused, and they were trying to pull me out of the car, and I knew that I couldn't, something was wrong with me, and I was like, don't, and I couldn't speak Spanish, so. And then they started to do all the tests and realized like I broke my back in 3 places. And like I knew something was wrong, but I could feel my legs. So, and then for me, panic started to set in because I was like, my whole livelihood is around moving my body, and I couldn't move it. So yeah, that was it was scary. When I saw my mom and I saw my son for the first time, it was just, I don't know how to describe that moment. But I also saw the look in my son's eyes that day of me lying there, and like it's hard to see your children like that, right? And so I said to the nurse in the hospital that night, I said, my son's coming here at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm like, I don't know what we have to do, but I have to show him I can walk. I'm like, I don't care what, you know, and we did it, you know. And he came that next morning, and I got on the walker, and it hurt so bad, and then I didn't stop walking from that day. And people are shocked by how quickly I've recovered. And so 100% is because I was fit going into this. And now more than ever when I teach, I have no patience or tolerance for people who are not taking accountability for their body. I'm like, I don't care how you look, you need to be strong. Because if you're strong, we just don't know what's going to happen in our lives in a day.
Mm-hmm. Hard to watch.
That is so hard to watch.
Yeah.
When you saw your son in the hospital, and you saw him looking at you, and he was scared, you said in that moment, you're not going to see me again, and if you do, I'm going to be walking, and you made it happen.
Yeah.
What I think is so incredible about this story is that your entire life of being fit is the thing that saved you. What was it? It was the impact of this crash and the fact that you could brace your core. And that's what yoga's all about.
Yeah, and you know what's so ironic is that years previous to this, I was in a different car accident, and that's what got me into yoga in the first place. So I used yoga as a rehab tool, but when I started to practice yoga, there wasn't anything out there for injured bodies and or tight bodies because I was an athlete. And so that was this is why I created yoga.
Yeah.
And then yoga is like the thing that saved it's why I'm walking today.
Let me tell you what I think of when I see that, because when I watch that story, I just, and we all felt it. We feel it in the audience. We feel it. We go through that journey with you. There's so much concern these days about fitting into the skinny jeans.
Right.
And you made it so clear. I don't care how you look. It's not about that. Fitness saved your life. It's about being strong, and it's about being able to be functional and get through this life in the one body you have.
Right, exactly. And not just physically, but emotionally as well. I look at life now, and I'm like, it really can change in a moment, in a different dynamic for different people. For me, it was a car accident. For some people, it's illness. For some people, it's a divorce. Like, something is going to happen that we're going to be challenged by. And so all we can do is prepare our bodies and our minds the best we can, and give ourselves the most strength that we can. because we just don't know.
We don't know.
No.
We are going to talk a little bit about what you can do for your core, because this is an area in a lot of our bodies that we don't pay enough attention to.
Right.
But I want to also talk about some of the other results of being in an accident like that, and being so close to the brink of death. You've sustained head injuries now, and this is ongoing.
Yeah, so the broken back, I think because I was in the Dominican, that was the first, obviously, that was what was highlighted, because they don't even look for concussion in Dominican. Like, it's a third world country, right? Their medical system is not the same as ours. So, so the concussion is, it's been more of a long-term, like, that's a different injury altogether. But had I not been strong, so if you think about the impact, we were driving 120 kilometers an hour, and we hit a cement truck, like, just from that speed to stop. And so upon impact, because my whole program is designed to protect the spine, I don't know if somebody that was not as strong as me would have walked out of that accident.
Right.
You know, and so now, before I teach, I work with athletes, and they used to say to me when they got hit, like football players, I'd be like, what does your body feel like? I'm not a football player. Like, I don't know what that feels like. And they would say it feels like my body's been in a car crash. Like, that's, they would always give me that reference. Now I'm like, oh, I get it.
Now you get it.
I totally get it. But even just thinking of the everyday person, I'm like, even if you just fall, right, or you just, like, these accidents happen. And so if we can protect ourselves and at least prepare our bodies and protect our spine, we not only have a better chance of not getting as injured, but we have a better chance of bouncing back faster.
Absolutely. It's about the recovery.
Absolutely.
Because we're all going to get ill, and we all will have issues in life, but how are you going to get out of that?
Right.
How are you going to recover? Can we talk a little bit about exercises that we can do? Even the audience, you guys can join in. Let's get rid of the stools.
You know, we can even do one sitting, actually.
Oh, let's try it.
You know what, just because it's, I mean, I was sitting when I was in the accident, and I really think that this is one of them. So if everyone just, first of all, sits up straight, that's the first thing. And then the easiest thing, and you can't really, I mean, we're not going to be able to see this big movement, but if you just lift your pelvic floor and squeeze your lower belly in, right, you're already, like, supporting your lower back, you know, and now just let that go. Right? And then brace yourself again. And you just, I mean, that's just the first step for proper posture, right?
Absolutely.
But the more that we do that, that's muscle memory, and the neurological system just, it reminds us that that's how we should be supporting the bottom of our spine, and then it accentuates to the rest of the spine.
Absolutely.
Now we can stand up.
Okay.
You can leave. You want to leave your shoes on just for added balance?
Yeah, sure.
Added challenge.
Added challenge, great. Yeah, let's go for it.
So now we're going to, a huge part of what we teach with yoga is how to integrate the breath and the core together.
Yes.
And so the first part of our core structure is actually the pelvic floor, and we can connect to that through breath. So if you lift your right leg up, you're...
I might hold your hand.
I can't even balance, I'm on running shoes. But if I inhale and lift my pelvic floor, see how your knee goes up, and then as I exhale, and then inhale.
Should it go up more?
It should go up, but I think because your shoes are on, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. But every time I inhale, if I lift my pelvic floor, watch my leg. And then as I exhale, like, that's my core moving my leg. I'm not actually using a muscle to lift my leg.
That's a strong core. And that's what you want to be able to happen after a while.
Absolutely, yeah. So, so the 3 cues that we use just to brace the spine are, like, pulling your pubis bone in. So basically, imagine, like, doing up a tight pair of jeans and zipping them up.
I was just there,
and then pulling those lower ribs in, right?
Okay.
And then that gives you that connection, that core connection to connect the lower back, and then lifting the breastbone up.
Oh, I really feel that.
Yeah, and so the idea then is to keep that bracing system when you're moving, like, all the time.
All the time.
And so when we're training people, we just remind them of all the way up the whole time, because in any position they can, you know, do that, right?
Oh my gosh, that takes some getting used to, but the more you do it, the more your muscles will remember. Let's just do one sort of plank type move.
So if you face me, and so even here, if we just actually take the legs out of it for a second, you can automatically feel your lower belly, right? So right away we brace the core. So pull those 3 cues. Pull the pubis bone in, ribs in, chest forward, push away the floor. Now let that all release. See what happens to our hips there, and then brace again. That's it. So you're feeling strong. Last thing we can do here is bring the legs right together. The inner thighs are actually part of your core group. Now straighten your legs. Re-cue, brace your spine, push away the floor. Good. And then even if you just hold here, we're saying this is like foundation, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling it already.
And then from here, if you can do the side plank with your legs together, you would move into the side plank here. But I'm always maintaining that bracing system, right? As soon as I lose that, I lose my strength,
you
right?
dip. Okay, it is all about strength, and that is a message we cannot repeat enough here on Cityline. Jana, your story is incredible, and I know that you are touching lives by sharing it. So thank you.